Okay, level 4 is last one. So in order to get, okay, backtrack. When you have a square root in the denominator, we don't want that. So how we get rid of that, and I believe this was in a level 4 when we were doing square roots, but we don't want a root in the denominator. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply by what we call the conjugate in the denominator. So if I multiply this one by just root 7, I'm still going to have a root in the bottom because I'll have to multiply by the 3 too. So I know that won't work. So I need to multiply by the conjugate. So in the bottom I have 3 minus root 7. The conjugate is the opposite of that, 3 plus square root 7. And then I'll multiply top and bottom by that. So what I'm going to do now is FOIL or distribute on both the top and the bottom. So on the top I have 5 times 3, which is 15, and 5 times 7, which is 5 root 7. Okay, in the bottom I have 3 times 3, which is 9. 3 times root 7 is 3 root 7. And then I have negative root 7 times 3, which is negative 3 root 7. And then negative 7 times 7 is negative square root 49. And now I just have to simplify. So on the top, I really can't simplify anything. On the bottom you have 3 root 7 minus 3 root 7. Those are going to cancel each other and be 0. Square root 49, that's just going to be 7. So on the bottom, I really have 9 minus 7, which is 2. Okay, and that would be your final answer. So I want you to notice how the 3 root 7 and the negative 3 root 7 will cancel each other out. Okay, one became positive, one became negative. And that is what the conjugate does for you. So if for some reason that's not working in your problems, it's probably because you're not doing the opposite of the operation in between your two terms in the denominator. Alright, that same thing goes for when you're doing imaginary numbers. You can't have an imaginary number in the denominator. So again, what you want to do is multiply by the conjugate. So instead of 3 minus I, you're going to do 3 plus I. And again, you multiply the top and bottom by it. So we want to distribute on the top, or FOIL, and on the bottom too. So let's work on the top first. 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times I is 5I. 3 times 3I is 9I. And 3I times I is 3I squared. Okay, on the bottom, I have 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times I is 3I. Negative I times 3 is negative 3I. And negative I times I is negative I squared. And now we just have to simplify. So on the top, I can add together 5 plus, well, 15 plus nothing, so 15. And then the 5I plus 9I is 14I. And then remember, I squared equals negative 1. So I have 3 times negative 1. Okay, on the bottom, I have 9. Now 3I minus 3I is 0. And I squared equals negative 1. But I still have that subtraction. So I want to make sure that I account for that. Alright, almost done. So I have 15 plus 14I minus 3 over 9 plus 1. And then final answer is going to be 12 plus 14I over 10. And oh, not final answer just yet. I can divide 12, 14, and 10 all by 2. So I'm going to go ahead and do that just to get a fully simplified answer. So 6 plus 7I over 5. Alright, so those are level 4s. If you can get to this step, the step beforehand, I'd be happy. Okay, I'd give you credit for that. So multiply by the conjugate, FOIL everything out, fully simplify, and be left with no i's in the denominator.